Hello everyone, in this video I would like to show you how to create the Needit application itself. Before, in my previous videos, I always mentioned that you can download the application directly from the GitHub repository, which is an easy solution that because the application is already ready for use and you can just download it if you know how to create an account in GitHub, obviously. But this time we are going to create the application itself, which means we have to create all the application files. So let me show you what are the application files. In order to see the application files, you have to go to you have to go to your service management and type studio, and once you open your studio, that's where you can see all your applications that you are building in. So far I have Needit test, another one that I'm working on, and this one is like basically I just training myself how to create the Needit application. What are the different aspects involved to create that application? So I'm going to open Needit application. So as you can see here, there are a huge amount of information. So you can click here on this minus button, which is going to collapse everything, and I'm going to explain what are these elements. So the title that we have here, those we call the category, and this is the file type, and this is the application file. So the file type is the table, and the application file is a Needit table, and so the same things works for every other things that we have here. This is the category form, and the form file type, which has two application file, one for default view, one for user view. So the form, basically you can imagine a form that you have in Excel file sheet, that you can create an Excel file sheet where you enter information. So it's the same logic. So this application files allows you to create a form, and you have another type of file, which is list layout. So how your table should look like, what are the columns should have. So you will get to know while I'm doing step by step each creating each category and file types and application files. You will get to know what is it exactly. So you have as well the server development, client development, that we are not going to touch on the beginning because that things involves scripting, writing scripting, and it can take more hours to explain in short videos how, for example, in client scripting, if I take requested for, and you can have not this one, for example, this one, a huge amount of codes need to understand. You have to understand how object oriented program works, all these things, which I'm trying to understand as well. So most of the things here are very simple, only few of the things are kind of need much more knowledge. So we are not going to touch in the beginning, but it will come as a second part of the video. And then we have the category access control, which allows you who can access the application, who are the person have the rights to access the application. So here we have role, and it's created in this type an application file called Needit user. This application file, what is going to do, you can use this syntax. For example, if I'm logged in as able tutor, so I'm gonna here type users and look for user in system security, and I click on able tutor, and I can give him a role. And at this point, if I click on edit, and here I'm gonna have a list of options, and I can like type X, and I can give him the role to have access to Needit application. So if I impersonate, I pretend to be able tutor, and if I look for Needit application, you should have here, as you can see here, it has the application. So the access control is basically giving to whoever wants the role, the access for the application itself. So let me delete, I don't want that person to have this access, so I'm gonna just look for the user, and let's delete that option. Let's not give him for now the access for the application. Done. So that's this one is automatically created once you create the application files, for example the table. And then you have the navigation. Navigation is the part where you see the Needit application. So if I type Needit, this is the navigation explorer. Under Needit we have create new, all, and open. And create new, all, and open, those are called modules. We are in the desktop, so if I go back here in Service Studio, I have different application different types under the category navigation. So application menu module, application menu mobile module. So for two different devices, one for mobile, one for desktop. So here I can see here already all create new and open, and Needit, the application itself, Needit. That's what we see here. For example, we see here Needit, the application itself, and the modules. So that's what we have at this point. So that's one we are going to create as well. And as well we are going to create a report which involves to see all active requests by type, all requests for some particular person, and not a particular person, for all persons, requesters, and then request by type, whether they are active or not. And we can as well create a schedule report. I don't know, by default there is two schedule report, and both of them have no difference. If I just open them, if you can try, you can notice it's exactly similar, except you don't have the subject and few lines here in the second one, but the first one just contained this. So we're gonna create one schedule execution report which going to send automatically reports on a certain frequency. Here there is no email mentions, that just for creation, just to know how to create this one, like we create other type of application files. So let's get started to create the entire things, not involving server development and client development on the first part of the video, because that thing can take much more longer time, much more explanation, understanding how object-oriented program works, and then what code is actually doing, and then we can start to create one, not just copy pasting. I can actually go here, I don't know, I can go to client script, click on let's say populate email, and I can just copy paste this code. It's gonna exactly do the thing what I want, but if I do not understand what is happening here, it's not going to help. So I will be doing separate videos for each and individual syntax that we have, how this thing works, and then we're gonna create separately each application files for client development and server development. Okay, so let's start to create one. So I'm going to close this one, everything that I don't need. Training, I'm going to keep it. Okay, so I click on studio, okay, as I have three different applications, Needit twice, I'm going to create another one from scratch. So the first option, Needit beta. Okay, that's going to be a name, or beta, let's say piece. It's like similar to beta. I'm gonna not put big letters. Create. So it successfully creates switch to application. As you can see, our studio is completely empty. There is nothing. We have to build everything step by step. The first thing is to create is the table. So we click on the creation application file and we click on type table and we go to table, click create. Okay, so the first thing is to create our table. Let's see how we name our table here. So I will close all the unnecessary things. So we just named it Needit, and I would do the same. So Needit bis. It will automatically generate this information, which we are going to use later. And then extends table. This is much more important things to understand. So each table in ServiceNow can have another table as a reference table or another table as an extension. The extensions table, the task table here that we are going to choose, is going to inherit all the previous all the parent table columns, and as well business logic. That's how you should understand. So it's going to take some information, like it's like the table Needit bis is going to be the parent table, and task table is going to be like the child table who can have some information from the parent table. That's how we can understand now at this point. And then we have in our table we're gonna increment. So the table is going to contain records. Each record will have a unique identification number. That unique identification number start with the prefix, and we are able to choose what kind of prefix we can have. So here I have Needit bis, so I'm going to put N capital and B to make more how to say logical. And here I give 6 digits, and it's automatically here putting the user role and with the syntax, appropriate syntax. The rest of the thing we don't need to touch it. It's proper in columns, it's fine. Application file, it's fine. So I'm gonna click on submit. You're gonna see it's gonna create a lot of application files directly. As you see now, we have the data model, the access control, and the navigation. Navigation means we have the application menu for desktop and the mobile version, and it created Needit bis, and there is no more. There is also modules Needit bis as well. So you can change it to all, and it's going to give you all the records if we have all the records. So that we are going to do a little bit later. So this now what we are going to focus is to create the second thing, which is like the creating the forms. The forms are available here. So I'm gonna just click on the application file Needit, the default view, and I'm gonna just take all the information available here and create here. So basically copy paste. So I cannot copy paste, but we are going to understand how this thing works as well. So first thing is to click on create application file, and I do form. I click on next. It's going to ask me which table you have to choose. In our case is Needit bis, so I'm going to click on this. So this one I don't need. By default we're gonna have in our form designer. This is our form designer where we are actually going to put all our information. So form designers, it's not a form itself. So the form designer where we are creating our form. So let me get back to the form that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. So let's create 4 sections. So we have already 4 sections, 2 sections. So I click on the plus button, any other one, I save it. Done. So now let's check. The first has 2 columns, 1 columns, 1, 2. 2 1 is going to be 1 and 2. And let's check what else we can do. So short description, and chart. Short description, work notes we don't need, so I'm going to delete that. And if you want to find charts, you go to file types and you scroll down, you have the chart, and you just drag and drop. So the chart is going to display us when we are going to see our form. To complete all the different information, is going to as well show us some visualization of a report in a donut chart or any type of chart. So here I'm going to specify what title I'm going to give to that chart. So I'm going to just copy paste from here, take this one, okay, it disappeared. I'm going to do again, copy, paste, and as I call base, I'm gonna call base as well. Done. Make sure you click on save each time, otherwise it can take some time. Okay. The second thing we're gonna work on this section, which is called statistics. And here is quite easy because it's going to be just drag and drop all the available fields like open, updated, created, so we don't need to create one by one like these ones, but this one is just drag and drop. So we have open, or created, updated, so let's put that. So I go here, so there's an easy way is to type open, have here created, down here, and what else we have, updated. Okay, it's in between, so the same thing here, but is open by and so on. So open by, updated by, now open by, now created by. This part is done, and we have one more thing, which is active. Active, if you look carefully, is a true or false type. So it's like yes or no type field. So now to find that field, you go to file types and you should have true or false here. So I'm going back here and I click and drag and drop this part. I put here active, and we have to really make sure the way we name this part is very important, because while you write your script, and if you're using any sort of field, it's not going to take as a reference the label, but it's going to take as a reference the name written here. The syntax here is very important. So it's going to be default, I guess. I checked, yes. So let me check again the name, Dave. Okay, great. So save it. Okay, so this section is perfectly done. Then we have this one, which is additional comments and work notes. Both are, in my sense, are journal input, so where we can just add more information, log information. So it's called log. I'm gonna change it to log, probably capital. And journal input, I prefer to type journal. So this one, so we have two, and the first one is additional comments. So how they name it, additional comments. And here I click on additional comments, and here is going to be okay. For some reason it's disappearing. I'm gonna be a little bit patient. Great. Done. Okay, it's done. And this one is called work notes, and the label with underscore. Okay, go here, work notes, work notes. Okay, I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna make sure if they were mandatory. They were not mandatory. Okay, for now I can notice that okay, for some reason I don't have, did I put somewhere else? Okay, so I'm gonna just drag and drop once more. Work notes, and we have to make sure this one is the crucial part to put the proper naming. I would like to mention, as you can see here, the type is journal. It's not journal input. For some reason, I'm not able to find here the journal input, but I found out later that once you created everything properly and it becomes as a journal input. Let's see if that thing works. Otherwise, I will find out a way to make it as a journal input, as I did for some other one, which is called percentage complete, that I cannot as well find here. So if I type percent complete, I don't have it, but there is another way around to add it in our form designer. Okay, so the third and the fourth sections are completely done. The second, third and fourth is completely done. Now the first part. Here the number we're gonna keep it. That's the number we have mentioned before, the prefix that we have given. So it's automatically incremented each time we are going to create a record. So that's a specific number done, and that we are not going to touch it. Priority state, we are not going to touch it as well, because this one is going to stay the same, but the state is going to be different. It's not going to have the same type of titles and numbers here, so that one we're going to change it. Assign to configuration item, we don't need it, so I'm going to just delete that one. Parent, we don't need it. Active, we don't need it. So let's go back to here and then look for request for. If you can open here, is written reference. So it's very important to notice what is the type reference. Here we are referencing another table that is already existing in ServiceNow. That's the user table, which has the list of the user. If you remember before, while my video, I was showing you how a lot of different type of users that we had. Able Tutor, Fred Ludy, and if you ever watched other type of other videos, you have already seen all the different users that we have. So we're going to use that table in order to input some information when it comes for a user requested for. So it's going to be kind of simple. I'm going to look for a reference, and I have it here, drag and drop, and it's going to be requested for. Not sure if I have to give. Okay, I'm gonna do like this, and you requested for. That's most important thing. So you requested for, and the table here is user. So we have to a little bit scroll down in order to find out the right table. It's not easy. User is here, system user. Okay, and it's going to be mandatory. Save it. That's the most important thing, otherwise we can lose the information at any time. So let's get started to create the other ones. Request for email is going to be just a string type, which means just enter some sort of string value, like the string text value. Okay, I'm just going to copy this one, and here I type string, and I'm going to take here, drag and drop here up, and it's going to be, make sure you, always you requested underscore for email, mandatory. Boom, I save it. So I will make sure once more, because I don't want to have some issues while we are writing some how to say some scripts and it's not working. Okay, the next one is request type. So we have choices, human resources, facilities, and legal. So it's going to be always string. So I'm just going to drag and drop another string value here, and it's going to be request requested type. And is going to be requested type. Sorry, I'm naming wrongly. Why requested type? It's request type. Okay, it's going to be mandatory, and create choice. The first thing is, I don't remember, it should be legal, human resource, facilities, and legal. Okay, so human resources, which is titled as HR, facilities, legal, and by default we're gonna have legal. It's going to be mandatory. Okay, choice type drop down with none. Perfect. I'm gonna save that one as well. Okay, and we have the other field, which is going to be a string type. So we will see why we have this field later. Let's put this other field, do that here, other, capital, other, I guess here is you, other, and 40, there is no choices, save. Okay, when needed is going to be a date type of, so when actually we need the request, that's why we are using this section. So I'm gonna just copy this one and make sure I date type, so it's going to be this one. So when needed, I'm not sure if I have to put the U before. Let's check that. In the meantime, yes. So another thing that I notice, I have only date and it should be date and time. So it's not this one. I'm gonna delete this one and needed, and it's you when needed, date and time. It's going to be mandatory. Save it. Okay, so now 1 2 3, so yeah, and something missing. What is it missing? What needed is missing. So what needed is going to be choice list, which is another choice list which comes after request type. So kind of breakdown of the HR 1 2, facilities 1 2, legal 1 2, and other 1 2. That's why we have another thing called other. So I'm gonna create another string which is here, and it's gonna be what needed. Okay, it's gonna be mandatory and create choice list. Okay, so the first thing is we have human resource one. Okay. Second thing we have, okay, I'm gonna copy paste this one. Human resource 2. Same thing goes for facilities. Facilities 1. Just copy paste this one. Legal 1. Just copy paste this one. And put 2 here, 2 here, 12, 2, and other. So other type of request other than this request. That's why we need another field that we have created before, just empty, if in case the user is requesting something like, hey, I don't want a human resource or facilities or legal, I'm going for other. In that case, we have to specify what other field, what other type of request you want. And at this case, you just display at this point in the interface level a field called other, that where the where you can input some information. It's basically, if you take an example, why did you choose this, how did you choose this, the group in Facebook or any sort of advertisement that you get, and you have different choice, friends, families, I don't know, people told me, references, and you have other, and when you mention other, they want to type some information. So the same logic applies here. So I'm going to change here to human resource HR1 and HR2. Okay, so the rest of the thing is perfect. I'm gonna save it. Oh, let's check if what needed is proper. Great, so that what is done. So now we have priority, state, and percentage complete, and target. Target is going to be the decimal value field. What is the target for this request? And percentage complete, how much it was completed, this kind of information. So this like, I didn't find this type of person complete in the field types, so the way I did is a little bit different, so I'm going to show you how I did that. Before doing this, I would like to just finish with this one, which is like the state. We have like requested, awaiting approval, approved, feedback, all these things, which is different from here. So I'm going to just click request state. The rest of the information should be the same, so only here is going to be the one we have. So requested, awaiting approval. I will change the number a little bit later. Up, approved, awaiting feedback, close, complete. So a little bit difference, and withdrawn, so associated with the number. The first one I guess is 13, 14, 15, 16. So 13, 14, 15, 16. Close complete is 3 and 8. So 3 and 8. What else I have to do? I'm gonna put requested for here up as a default. It's gonna be mandatory, I guess. No, it's not mandatory. Okay. The label, the state name is correct. So everything is perfect. Okay, that part is done. So now I'm going to create the target, so which is a decimal. So that one I can find if I type decimal. For now I didn't have any request with the decimal number, so I'm just creating it just for the purpose because it was already created into the system in the Needit request. So even though I didn't use it, and how really this thing reflect when we create the request, what decimal number, all this kind of thing. So I'm just gonna just randomly just copy paste like target, what I have here, like target, and what else, decimal. It's called target as well without u, I guess, and done. So now most of the thing is already completed properly. The only thing we need to do at this point is to add the person complete, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a minute. So you go here, you go to the table, and you have another way to add columns into your tables. That columns, once you add into your table, is going to reflect in the form, right? So here I'm going to click on plus, sorry, and I'm going to look for type person complete. So add the column here, and I'm going to choose the type, which is percentage. So if I type percentage, I will have this. I like to make sure, so it's a sign of percentage that we have here, and then we have complete. So let's keep that syntax similar to that one. Okay, So I'm gonna update it. It's gonna automatically, so these are column, how to explain that.